I said I wasn't going to talk about NX. However, I'm making an exception here. But it's not more about NX. It's more about the chances of Nintendo making a handheld device. It's a pretty big opinion that I've had in my head for a very long time, where the chances of Nintendo going out and making a full-out 3DS or a new device that would become a new portable console is very slim to none, and would really hurt Nintendo in the long term, especially with the other options that they had on the table. And I wanted to get into that. So guys, Nintendo, of course, their rise and now their decline was the top of the game, the DS Lite. Of course, you had the original DS, but the DS Lite picked up the steam, really drove the sales to, I think it was about 2006, 2007, and those were the popular times. 2005 to 2007 were the popular times for this device. Climbing down, of course, DSi. I had a DSi when I was a kid. Really fun device. In terms of like portable, don't want to get too far into my own history here, but I owned a PSP and a DSi, and then I jumped back over to PSP, and I had a 2DS, which I enjoy. The one thing that I enjoy about the 2DS, I actually enjoy it a lot, but 2DS has a lot of redeeming qualities that people don't want to talk about. 2DS is a great system, and I think it's one of the systems that's actually saving Nintendo's portable lineup right now. Without 2DS, people would really be priced out of this category and would just use their smartphones. So I think people have to really thank Nintendo for designing a console that was so cost efficient. Anyway, 3DS has not been the DS, and there's a number of reasons for that, particularly the smartphone rise, the fact that smartphones can do everything, and the fact that, there's just this revolution in terms of the all-in-one post-PC device. Whether it's your iPad, whether it's your Samsung Galaxy Tab, whether it's your Samsung Galaxy phone, whether it's your iPhone, and whether you're on a contract to get one new one per year, you're going to get one, right? You're going to have this device with you nonstop, and it's just evident in the world that everyone has a device. Everyone will have a device that will allow you to set your own alarms, will be able to play your own games, will be able to set appointments, will be able to do everything you need all in one device. And it makes it easy, and it makes it simple, and it makes it safe, so that you're not just carrying around 50 different things. Now, one thing that I had thought about for a while was Nintendo entering this market in 2016 or 17. Now, there were many rumors. A couple months ago, there was a big rumor that Nintendo was going to release a portable console first and a home console next year. That would be disastrous, and here's why. The portable console market is essentially dead. Now, I don't want to be someone that is just saying this out of the blue, but we can evidently see this. 3DS sales are declining. The 2DS is here at $99, entering a new device. Not only right now, at a time when smartphones are so popular, but at a time when Nintendo just released the new 3DS, which is very, if the weird thing would be, right, if Nintendo released a portable device, it wouldn't be the first time that they did this. We saw it with the DSi, which lasted about 2 years and then came out in 2009, and then 2011 was the 3DS, right? So only 2 years of a lifespan, maybe it was 2007, I can't recall. Let me check for you guys. All right, so yeah, 2009 to 2011, only 2 years of a lifespan. So it's only been, it came out, what was that, 2015? It'd be a year and a half. If it released in the fall, it'd be a year and a half between the new 3DS and this one. And so, there would be people that would have jumped on the new 3DS, and the incidental thing would be that people would be confused at the market for a second, like, oh, why did I buy this new 3DS? Well, this is only to safe-proof 3DS for the next few years. Now, a new 3DS or a new device, right? I don't know if they really want to go for a DS design. Like that's the whole thing. We go into like rumors and skepticism, and I look at the design. I think has been maxed out, right? We've seen what it can do, and unless they're going to go like Apple and just make it thinner, then we've run out of sort of the idea of the dual screen device has kind of run its path. And the names for the dual screen device anyway have also run their path. You go from DS Lite to DSi to DSi XL and 3DS and new 3DS. You can't even name it something else. You just call it new. That's when you know that you kind of need to change the name. So, so at this point, we need to then make a new device, brand new device, R&D, and brand new design. Is it going to be a single screen? What's its name going to be? So people need to adapt to this new name. They're going to get used to the new name. It has to be more powerful than the 3DS, of course, because people don't want to just have a console that's just as bad in terms of graphical power as to a 2011 console that looks worse than something that's on a smartphone today. That's not what they want. They want something that looks just as good, that can evolve the games. And that's just something that critically Nintendo has to do. They have to make it more powerful, so it's going to cost more. It needs to be, have efficient battery life. And at this point, it's like, does Nintendo really need to jump into this? Is it worthy for Nintendo to jump in, to spend all this money, to jump into a portable console market that is obviously dying to smartphones? Especially when we know that Nintendo is already planning on doing something really massive in this category. We already know that there are multiple mobile games expected to come to the mobile device, or not mobile device, but iOS and Android. So what is their long-term goal with this? You have the president talking about that sales are going to expand exponentially, that they're going to make a lot more revenue. How are they going to do this? And then my head clicked in, wait a second. They don't need to make a portable device anymore. And they won't need to. Ever. Again. Here's how this will work, very simply, if they want to do it this way. Because they have done some really weird stuff, an iPad, tablet, gaming pad to play your games on, a Comcast remote to play motion-controlled games. So they've gone into crazy territory, or different territory. But we know that they can do things very, very different. However, what if they just were making, some people say, oh, well, Nintendo can't just, they want to control their own hardware, but they're releasing software on this smartphone. But all Nintendo would need to do at that point is to make a controller design where you sit your smartphone into that controller. I'm trying to think of this company. You look at the success of Moga, right? Moga, or not success, but this design. For $6, you have this controller, or maybe it's not Moga, but I'm thinking of this other company, where you just attach a controller, and the controller holds your smartphone in place, and quite simply, you can play your games on it. Meaning that Nintendo still controls their hardware. You're still using their controller. It solves the problem completely. And you're just using another device to display your games. You're using another screen, and this screen would just be on another smartphone. If they want to get into sort of the compatibility of this device with the controller, they could get into a contract with Apple or Samsung. Or if Microsoft really wanted the money and really begged, it'd say, oh, well, you can only get this on a Microsoft device, which actually may hurt Nintendo in the long run. But, only on Lumia devices, that would, like I said, hurt Nintendo, because people just aren't on those devices. But I could see it on Apple, I could see it on a Samsung, or I could see it on just all like Android and iOS, right? Where we see it's a controller, it's a Nintendo made controller, and at the top there's an attachment piece, and you can put your smartphone right there. Or even crazier is you have a controller where you can just sit the smartphone inside of it. That'd be kind of wide. It would make the controller wider. But if they wanted to have an all-in-one sort of fit for a controller, a physical device, they could do that. So it wouldn't be surprising, it wouldn't be radical. It would just be something that would work and would keep them in the portable market, would keep them involved in making their hardware, and it would still drive their software, because if they wanted to, they could say, this game will only work on this controller, and so you have to buy the controller if you want to play this game. It's like, okay, that's it. Then they're still controlling the hardware, and Apple or whoever other company is still making revenue off of the fact that, hey, they're using that phone to play games, right? And then like if Nintendo doesn't have to go into the game center, the App Store, or Google Play to advertise their game. They just open up their own app. You can select the game through the app, and that's it, right? And I think that if you look at what they're doing, I could really see that as a possibility. So Nintendo, do they need to release a new portable system? No, they don't. They can just use what we've seen already, and it takes years to develop a device. So none of the new devices right now would really matter unless they were doing something really quickly. But they were looking at this for a very long time. They would see that Moga and these other companies have already invested in this, and that if they want to stay on the portable game, the issue with the with iOS and Android is simple. It's that the games, while they're great, the games just aren't games that we know all that well. They're not excited. That's the issue. People aren't jumping bouncing off the wall for mobile games, and are putting them in this separate category because they're not games that we grew up with, or they're a different category, or they're casual games. I played Real Racing 3, I played Asphalt 8. They are fun, arcade. Actually, Real Racing 3 almost feels like a simulator at times. Or when they try to bring in these simulator-like feelings in a smartphone, it's like, wow, it's just phenomenal. I can't fathom the fact that we've gotten this much power. So if Nintendo were to be a full force in mobile gaming, the next Mario Kart, just have this controller and have your smartphone, works. Boom. They don't need a DS. They don't need a whatever. It makes Nintendo's access point easier. It makes, or not access point, but it makes anyone who wants to join Nintendo easier. It makes easier to join. It makes people who want to join in. It's like, okay, well, this is available on iPod Touch, iPhone 5S, iPhone 5C, the new iPhone that's coming out later on this March, or releasing information about later on the March event, and the 25th, I think that's it, and on Samsung Galaxy S, blah, 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 and this, and this, and this, right? And all the phones I can snap into that device and work. Or the ones that are contractually obligated to blah, blah, blah. So Nintendo can easily do that. They have the bank, right? They have the money to do this. If they wanted to talk with these companies, and we'd see something like this, and it would be cool design and really nice, and I wouldn't be surprised if they came out and they're like, this is all it is, and they have the NX event, and it's just like, this is all it is, and you attach it to your phone, and then they market to the fact that Nintendo could do the same exact thing that they did back in the 80s, where it's like, these games aren't just like where they had that serious ad campaign for the Super Nintendo. It's like, you're not playing with power, you're playing with superpower. It's like they could do the same thing with mobile games. This isn't just mobile games. This is Nintendo on your blah blah blah. It's like only on iOS and Android, and it's like they have the Nintendo logo or whatever the logo of this device is, and it's like you have to buy this controller. They still control they still have the hardware, and they're also making software, so it doesn't stop it. I'm sorry I keep beating over the head of it, but I just want to try and implement other ways to explain it, so I'm not just missing on anything. So does Nintendo need to make a portable product? And does it look like Nintendo's going to make another portable product? No, it doesn't. It looks like they're going full out into this space that I think they really need to jump into at this point. That, if they're going to go portable anymore, the closest thing to portability will be on a smartphone, and will be some sort of accessory that works with the smartphone. That's what I see happening, and that will be really exciting. Anyway, using the touch controls can be really annoying sometimes. So I hope they're doing something like this. So guys, what do you think Nintendo's going to do? Comment below and tell me what you think. Once again, this is Gamer Standpoint.